Hey, good looking. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over some shadow comparisons to the MAC Tempting Fate Feast Your Eyes 8 PM palette by MAC. And it's currently sold out. I happened to pick it up. I wanted to go through some shades in my collection to see if there's some shadows that kind of dupe those vibes. And when you guys see what I come up with, you're going to be so surprised. And let's jump right into it. So like always on my live streams, I got a couple cameras here, so you guys will get to see an overhead view as well as my face at times. And we will just kind of look around and see what I've got in my collection that can dupe the vibes of this MAC Tempting Fate palette. So let's get started. Okay, here is the palette in all her glory. And I do want to say that, good morning, Stephen. The shades that I got, hey Candy, thanks so much for joining me. I also, if I get a couple of people on, I do want to do a giveaway. So, okay, this is the Tempting Fate palette. The actual shades are not correctly placed in the palette, and I know that because if you look at the back here, you can see that the shades are, they're not correct. Like, for example, it's a pear or pear, what a pear right there is the second shade in the palette, and it is actually it's either the second one over or the fourth one over, depending on how it goes. But anyways, they don't match up, so I had to go through and label the names. I did do a little bit of cheating, and I checked out Tantalia's blog on this palette, and I got a little glimpse of what she has in exchange for some of these shadows, because there are 3 new formulas in this palette that MAC has, and they're all new. So I kind of was lost when duping the vibes, reverse duping the vibes anyways, just because I can kind of look at the shades and match them up, and then depending on what swatch and what lighting, they don't pop out, Stephen. No. So Stephen's asking, so weird. Do they pop out? No. But Ruby brought it to my attention on Instagram the other day that there's a different layout for the palette. You guys might be hearing my husband's making a shake, but it will be over soon. I promise. As always, we'll be going over some shades that are going to dupe the vibes, and then if we have some time, I'll do a look with this, and then that'll be kind of it. I think that's all I have in store for this. And you guys are going to be so surprised at some of the shades. So let's go. I don't know. So when Sephora Canada restocked this palette, so Candy's Beauty's asking if are we sticking with a single brand today? I'll just get to that in just a moment, Stephen. But she says that she wonders if hers will be out of order as well. I think so. I think this is the restock that changed up the shade names, and the shade names were originally supposed to, or the shades were originally supposed to not look quite like this. And there is, if you go on Sephora Canada's website, you can see the layout is different. So, but all the pictures, like from Temptalia to everything else, the shades look just like this, but the shade names won't match up. So, okay. Stephen asks, are we sticking with one brand today? And the answer is going to be yes, primarily sticking with one brand today. And can you guys guess what brand that is? I'm gonna go ahead and pull out some palettes here. You guys, if you watched my video, you might know. There is one shadow. I did look at Temptalia's blog, and there's one shadow that comes from a different palette, but many of you have it. In fact, I know both of you that are talking to me right now, Stephen and Kendi, I believe both of you guys have this. You guys have told me that you have it. So you have the dupe shadows. Okay. So let me show you what I got on the drawing board right here. And that is some ColourPop shadows. And you guys will see why in just a moment I use some of my ColourPop shadows. Mainly because of the formula. The formula is very similar to the MAC Sparkler formula. So I'm going to set those to the side right there. I'm grabbing up my ColourPop palettes right here. and we'll take a look and see. Some of these are like, okay, so let's just go ahead and look at this real quick. We've got the first shade, which is Feast Your Eyes. And you can't even see it. Here, let me turn this off. There, does that help a little bit? Probably not. You can't even see it. Wow, I didn't even think about that. I switched cameras today just to see if I could get one that would autofocus. So let me try it right here. There we go. Got it. Okay, so Feast Your Eyes, and you'll have to squint a little. This one, this one, this one, and this one. So those are all sparkler shades, I believe. And those are kind of that more toppery looking shade. So I took the last of the coffee downstairs, sweetheart. Do you want some? Here it is, folks. Sorry, you'd have to make some more. Okay, moving along here. Now that we got the coffee sitch sorted out. So initially when I bought my ColourPop shadows, I really didn't like them. And it was mainly because these shadows, these shimmer shades right here, were so incredibly sheer and transparent. And at the time, the big thing, yes, I drink straight from the pot. It's actually a coffee pot cup or mug, if you will. So yeah, I'll link it down below. You guys will get a kick out of it. But anyways, and when I was getting these shades, I was kind of like, I really don't like ColourPop shadows if this is their formula and this is how they perform, you know? I don't know if you guys can see them. You can see them a little bit better on my hand. Boy, that's Justin. There wasn't any left in the coffee pot, actually. So just to let you know. But anyways, going back to what I was leaving off with, these shades right here. Actually, this one shows up really well. It's just really sheer. It's semi-opaque, but mostly you could use it as a topper shade. And I didn't really like this. And I was so close to giving away this palette. But so many of the shadows in this palette seem to mimic these shades and formulas in this palette. And if you guys have any Super Shock shadows, those also would do well. Here is from That's Taupe, and this is the shade Slated. I don't know if it's this shade or not that is really similar to it. Yeah, kind of. See how it's very similar? You really can't see it, can you? But if I were a betting woman, I would probably use, like, that's a Super Shock shadow from That's Taupe, I believe, anyways. And then, so for the shade, I kind of did this yesterday. I just did a really rough run through, but I got a couple of them here. Ugh. There we go. Let's go ahead and get the mattes out of the way. So these are a cream to powder formula. Let me just go ahead and give you kind of swatches of these real quick on my arm. And we'll do the final swatch party, and I'll show you guys comparison. Doesn't even take. There we go. Oh, was that where it was? Yeah, that's where it was. Sorry, I did a double swatch. But anyways, you guys see it. It's a creamy formula. It reminds me very much so of Natasha Denona's formula. I have her, is it Jubilee palette that has that blue shade in it, and it's very, very similar. This might even be more creamy. So what I would do, you're not going to mimic the formula in this, but you know, just to mimic the shades, you might go with something like Facet from ColourPop, and that might dupe, you know, this kind of purpley shade or this brown shade. And I would personally go with the Raw Beauty Christie Amanita shade. And then for Grins and Giggles, this shade right here could possibly go in with the Yesterday's Gossip shadow. This is more peachy in tone, but you see what I'm saying? Like, you've got your mattes, they're kind of what they are, and you can just pick from your collection any of those. And those will, you know, work to your liking. Like, or you could take from maybe another ColourPop palette This is Lust for Dusk Horizon. That's a little more pinky. Maybe we want that, you know. But these sparkler shades. So what I'm trying to get at is these sparkler shades definitely are more of a topper, sparklier, you know, prettier shadow. When I looked up, it was either Velvet Vamp or Feast Your Eyes. And if you give me a moment, guys, I'll look it up to just confirm it. I found that the shade, yeah, the formula is where you're going to have the difficulties. Unless Natasha Denona has those already out, like you're not going to match the formulas up. But to be honest with you, these shadows are pretty difficult to work with. So I don't really think MAC hit it out of the park with that. I think that that was one of their, you know, not so innovative ideas for this palette. Okay. Whoops. So I took the shade Lunar Champagne out of the palette. And yeah, it's Lunar Champagne. It's out of one of the 6 new exclusive shadows. And this actually dupes the shade. I believe it's Velvet Vamp, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I'm already needing wipes. That's so nice. I think it's this one right here. So, and that's what Temptalia has at a 95% dupe rate for her. I'm just going to wipe this. These are kind of hard, and they, to me, it's like you could almost use them as like blushes. Those 2 pinky purples, you can almost use them as blushes because they are legitimate thick creams, and I can't really get them on my brush very easily. So there is Lunar Champagne from the Celestial Divinity palette. It's one of the 6 exclusive shades in her Celestial Divinity palette. I know we are approaching the next, or we just released, Pat McGrath just released the next palette, the Celestial Odyssey, with 18 brand new shades. But here is from her previous, I don't know if you guys, the more I pull back, the better it gives me the swatch, but there we go. So I think that it's Velvet Vamp, but if you guys give me just a moment, I'll go ahead and toggle over here and head over to Temptalia's blog. And sorry, you're going to hear me typing away. Sorry. I have it saved and everything though, so we'll just go down. Yeah, I believe it is the Velvet shade because I just saw the Feast Your Eyes and they did not have the Pat McGrath shade as a dupe. So Velvet Vamp, yes, at a 95% similarity, Velvet Vamp is very similar to Pat McGrath's Lunar Champagne. So here we go. There we go. Good morning. Good morning. So those would be some similar. And I feel like this is definitely more opaque than this shadow right here. This is very sparkly, but you can build up opacity on both of them. So those are similar in shade. But the rest, I really felt like they come from ColourPop. And when I was checking out Temptalia's blog, she had quite a few ColourPop palettes. She also had quite a few other shadows that were limited edition and they were already, you know, discontinued. So yay, happy vacation day. We love a holiday. Okay, so just going through what I have right now and just kind of looking through it, I would take something like Tea Garden and I would put that in for, there is some magnets right there. I would put that in for What a Pair. Tea Garden's a duochrome, but it kind of gets off the same vibe, but kind of one-ups it in my opinion. So definitely I would do something like that. And then I would pull from this palette right here. And I think it's really just, if you have a collection of Super Shock shadows, just grab some of them because I'm legitimately just pulling the Super Shock shadows. But see how they are toppery and textury and stuff like that? Yes, we like that you're off work too. Everybody needs a good vacation. It's kind of hard to see this. There's just so much shimmer. I've got quite a bit of white though, so that might be why. Let me see here. What did I have? Okay, so I think I chose for this gold shade here at the bottom, which is all that jam. I chose the shade Thank You Next. This is also a duochrome. So let's just take a look. Of course, nobody can see. And I think that it kind of gives that same, like, there's some opacity there. We won't tell, Stephen. We will not tell. Oh, I can't believe you guys can see that. That's not supposed to be in frame. I feel like it gives a really good opacity, but it kind of zhuzhes up the palette a little bit. So the last shade in the palette, you know, something like Misty, maybe. Would that? No. I think maybe. Would Mr. Sandman, should we do 3 duochromes in this palette dupe? I feel like that shouldn't happen, but here's Mr. Sandman. Although I have to say, with these, you don't really see the duochrome as much. The shift in the duochrome. Let me bring it over here to the shadow a little bit. There we go. And that's Mr. Sandman. You could possibly put something like that in there. I wonder if I went this right here. I don't even know what you are, beautiful. Earth Shine. No, that's way too like ethereal. You know, I may just go ahead and stand up real quick and shut one of these blinds just to give myself a little bit more shade. Does that help? Does it? Does that help at all? I feel like it does. Oh, yes. Yes. And now I could probably even turn on the light and then just get like a little bit of, I'm going to switch it to natural. There we go. Okay. You know what? So that's something that's real here. Subbing and then unsubbing. YouTube will, I think they even announced that they will unsub to you if you, and we can talk about all these good things here. They will unsub you from channels that you don't watch, or like if they haven't posted in a while, sometimes they unsub you from them. So, or like, let's say you only post once a month and you miss that last post for whatever reason, and it goes like 8 weeks, you go like 8 weeks without seeing somebody's. I've gotten unsubbed from people's before. And that is a real thing. That is a real thing. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are finding some shadow dupes for the MAC Tempting Fate Feast Your Eyes palette. It is sold out. It is sold out in the US. Canada, I guess it still has some. Ruby, do you know, did they sell out in Canada yet? Why doesn't it just switch it over? I wanted to go to this one. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of what I have. And these are all basically ColourPop shadows. So, you know, get into your ColourPop Super Shocks. Those are going to do for your sparklers. For these little bit more opaque shadows, I chose duochromes, but you could go with basically anything. If you wanted to stay with your mothership, you could get into like this shadow right here. Oh, some Max will still have it. Oh, that's wonderful. Bronze, you could use that as that all that jam. In fact, let's go ahead and let's just get a swatch. I've got so much glitter all over my fingers. Here we go. Let me just shut that real quick. So that's the bronze. You could do something like that. Let me just swatch it right next to the MAC one. You know, one's a little more orange, one's a little bit more red toned, but I think both are very beautiful. Both on the eyes would look very good, and both give off that same vibe. I mean, you're just looking for the vibe, really. So I chose a duochrome from ColourPop, but I guess technically I could just, you know, get on in there. I think this is Misty. I think that one might be the one that we should go with instead of Mr. Sandman. What do you think? Sorry, one-man show here. I gotta do all the wiping and swiping, you know. Okay, so that is Misty. Then, oh, you can see my nasty rat. That was nice. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad, because I was like, how do people do it and they don't look like crazy, insane, pigmented everywhere? Okay, again, one is leaning. That doesn't look as good. I don't really like those two. I'm not going to go with Misty. I'm definitely going to go with Mr. Sandman. Wouldn't you say? Like, if you have to, just kind of deepen it up a little bit. Oh yeah. So unsubbing, yeah, it's a real thing. I didn't believe it, but I was like, this person legitimately like talks to me and we share funny memes on Instagram. And I found out they weren't sent to me and I was like, oh, I didn't know. And I just don't believe that they would unsub to me. No, I mean they might, and that's fine. It's in their right. Some people, you know, our goals don't align and that's okay. So, okay. Yeah, it looks like we're heavy on the duochromes today. So this is Tea Garden. We've got Thank You Next. We've got some Color Pop, Super Shock. We've got some nice mattes here. And then we've got one from Mother Pat, the Lunar Champagne. And those are some really, really good dupes. Okay, bye, Stephen. You have a great day. And I will show you probably the final swatches on Instagram also. I can post them. I am really bad about, I'll even take pictures for the gram and then I just never even post them. So yeah, it's insane. Okay, I've got glitter everywhere. Does that look terrible though? Let me get all this pulled back. But yeah, I was noticing that the Super Shock formula was very, ooh, when did this casualty happen? Clean up on aisle 8. All right, moving along. Here we go. Should we grab an empty palette? That's not actually empty at the moment. Let's just put them out on the table. That looks very organic. To be honest, I really don't know if that's the pink I would use, but we'll just substitute that in. You'll get the point. I don't like to use a lot of Color Pop in my duping the vibes because they almost never stock these singles. And I understand they go where the money is and the money's in their palettes. But for some of us that just legitimately want one or two shades, you know, come on, restock, restock. So let's do, yeah, this is going to get painted at some point. So let's go ahead and get started on the swatches. So here we go. Feast your eyes. Ooh. Can everybody see these? I feel like lighting is everything. It's just not what I have today. Okay, I just went and turned it off. I'll build up opacity just slightly, but remember, these are topper shades. Okay, and then for that, I pulled from that's Taupe, and I pulled the shade Slated. It's kind of got a pinky, cool undertone. Oh, that's pretty. I don't have too many Super Shock shadows. I don't have any in like the single version. I just have them from palettes, and that is quite all right with me. I think I have enough. So that's what I would choose. Something like that, you know. This one's a little warmer. This one's cooler, but I feel like the vibe is there. All right. We've got Yesterday's Gossip. Yeah, this is really crazy. Okay. Yeah, it almost feels like a cream blush. I wonder how long this is going to last before it goes bad. I was just talking about that with Kendi, and we were talking about expired makeup and how we just use makeup as long as it's fine. This one may outdo us, honey. Okay, this is from the Lust for Dusk, and it's the shade Ooh, Horizon. Just about had another casualty. Yeah, yeah, I think that's okay. This is a little more peachy. This is a little bit more cool tone, but this is more cool tone and this is more peachy, so we balanced it. Oh, thank you so much, Misha. Is that how you pronounce your name? Thanks so much. I am glad you're here. We welcome you to the community. We're having a little swatch party, and we are reverse duping the vibes of the MAC Tempting Fate palette. So I'm going to, oopsie daisy. It's not like I can hide my laptop in frame, so better yet, just get the mic situated where I want. Okay, so that's that. That's yesterday's gossip. That's a good dupe. I mean, it's fine. I'm okay with it. Here's Golden Rage. And again, cream to powder formula. They call this, what do they call this? Leather luster. Yeah, leather. That's cute. So nice. And if they don't match up, guess what? I've got a couple more browns in ColourPop. Okay. Here we go. All right, Candy. Thanks so much for joining us. You have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Ooh, this is more plummy. But there is that nice warmth of brown in there. Let's go back to the drawing board. Is this darker one a better option? No. Oh. Okay. Maisha. Okay, Maisha. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness, I love it. Let's try this one. Is this one any better? You know what? I think I'll just stick with this one. We better just stick with this one. So let's see. Facet it is, and that is doing the vibes of Golden Rage, folks. This is hard. You know why this is hard? Because I actually have the palette in front of me. Before, when I don't, I just have, the palette to look at, and it's anything goes, right? But here we have like the answer key. You know what I mean? In terms of like class, this is the answer key. This is Midnight Stunner. Oh, this is beautiful. Yuki. There we go. There, be a little bend. Nice and sparkly. The shade that was hardest to dupe was probably What a Pair, just because Sydney Grace is so pigmented, so opaque, so just really, really rich and creamy. And this is a topper shade, and it's green. And other than looking through my, the child palette, I don't really have a lot of like soft shimmery greens. So that one was the hardest shade to dupe for me. That was not some question. Okay, let's see what we got here. This is Mr. Sandman. Mr. Sandman is featured in another ColourPop palette that you might have. It's either off Melrose or it's Lust for Dusk. No, Lust for Dusk has Miser. Boy, I can't remember now. Oh, that is, okay, come on. That's a pretty close one. This is a little tiny bit of a blue shift over the top, that lavender for the duochrome. But come on, it's nice. We like a good dupe. That one did really well. The formula is very, very unique to this palette, which is why I was so sad to see that's already sold out. And I have, so let me just cut in really quick because I can. I have watched on Instagram, Mac was answering some questions when they were advertising for this palette that it had already sold out in the United States, and they were asking, people were asking about a restock. They said just to check back with the website to see if we restock, but typically they don't restock limited editions. So They're not really stating one way or the other. My guess is with how fast it sold out, they're probably already ordering another shipment of these palettes, but that's just like me, making up stuff. I don't really know. Okay, let's go back. So we did the first row. Should we do the other row on this side? I feel like we should. Okay, that's fine, Ruby. Chime in whenever. Let's do the other side. That way we got, this side. Oh, this works so much better, actually. Okay, so all that jam. Nice, beautiful, golden, red copper shade. Yeah, very nice. And the shade I chose for it in ColourPop is Thank You Next. Again, a little bit of that duochrome. We're one-upping the competition. Like if you're going to invest in some singles, let's make it worth your investment. It's a little more orange in person. From my angle, I'm seeing that bronzy orange shift. But if I look head on at what you guys are seeing, basically, you guys are seeing the red and the red. So very, very beautiful. I think it's a nice alternative. My thought process was, many of my subscribers in my community already have the Celestial Divinity. So you pull that out, you got a shade, right? And then now you're looking to make a ColourPop order and you'll fill in the gaps the rest of the way. These two come from, what is this? Lust for Dust and Raw Beauty Christie. That's discontinued, but you get the gist. You would just order a single, or you just grab one out of your collection. That would be fine as well. So, okay, moving on. What a pair. Yes, I don't reach for my ColourPop singles. This is the reason why. They are more of a topper shade. Okay, there is that shade, the pear shade. Now, should we just, I think I will for the purposes of examination. I'm going to show you guys some Sydney Gray shadows and how they compare and really the difference in this formulation. Because this is just, you can almost apply this so sheerly that you don't even know that what color it is. Like you wouldn't even guess that it was green. Give me a moment just to grab here. Oh, busting out Sydney Grace. It's not even 10 a.m. So let's say, you wanted to use this shadow right here. I don't know what it is. Let's see. It's Death. Okay. And you wanted to use that as your shade to dupe with. You would have to apply this so sheerly. Let me just see that. I just got into another shade somehow. There we go. See that? See how opaque it is? Yeah, Sydney Grace really. And then here's the other shade. Well, let's just swatch them right next to each other. And this is me just doing a very, very soft, swatch next to it. It's not really the same color, but you can see this is so much more opaque. I don't know if you can or not. You might think that you're seeing my skin, but you're not seeing my skin through it. This is legitimately the shadow. It's just a very opaque formula. It's a very beautiful formula too, but not what we're needing for the MAC sparkler formula. So that's why I did not go and choose any colors from Sydney Grace, just because the formula is very, very different. So Maisha says, I was considering getting this palette because I'm on a hunt for a green that's similar to Bronx in the Anastasia Master Palette by Mario. Sounds like I need to pass. Okay. I do not have that palette, and I haven't seen swatches on it recently. I don't know if I've ever looked at swatches, but I think this is one of them that I will be duping in the, bringing to life old palettes. And I have for this shade, so this is what I chose anyways, Tea Garden. You can see it's got like a reddish undertone shiftiness to it. You might see it more when I swatch. And then I suddenly have an echo. Oh my goodness. Hang on. What are you doing to me, StreamYard? Okay, does it sound any better this way? Let me turn the left, just a little bit. Actually, if I turn it this way, does it sound better? Is the echo still there? I'm not hearing it now, but that doesn't mean it might not come around. Okay. Let me know if there is some more echo. Okay, I've got my headphones plugged in so that my speaker outlet, I shouldn't have anything as far as the speaker. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, just let me know, guys. I do, try to work on this as we go along, but, it happens to everybody, the best of us, right? This isn't really that great of a dupe. See what I'm saying? Like, this makes the palette very unique in the sense that, it's just a very, very unique formula. It's not too golden. It's not too green. There you have it. So, but that's my dupe shade. It does have that green shift over top, but it does have that warm base. So it'd be like this shade and this shade. Had a baby. So, TBR. There you go. Okay. Velvet Vamp. I cheated on this one. I checked the cheat sheet, and this is Velvet Vamp. We've already seen that Celestial Divinity. Ooh, that's a little chunky. Lunar Champagne. That dupes it pretty well. And I would say that's a really, she's coming in at 95. Yes, this is the first one that I've been ever really drawn to since the, this is going to be old school, but MAC Archie collection, when they had that brushes, that little brush collection. That was the first and only brush collection I've ever seen that MAC put out with the little short handles that contained a MAC 242. So I actually found it on Mercari, and I treated myself that Valentine's Day. So, and those are pretty good. Those are pretty good dupes. Pretty good dupes in form of formula and color. Pretty close. This one seems a bit darker, but we'll let it go. It's a little crumblier. I think if I would have sheared this out a little bit more, you might have seen that it looks very similar. Okay, Brocade Renegade is that last Leather Luxe shadow. Here we go for the swatch, folks. Beautiful, beautiful. I think you're really going to find that the Raw Beauty Christie, if you have that palette, is going to show a nice undertone of pink. And here's the shade. It's a dry formula, though. It's not a cream to powder. I tapped off my brush there. There we go. A little more red. This is a little bit more true to purple, but I think that is what you're seeing the difference in formula of. But I really like it. Let me take off my watch. I might just screenshot this for later use. The different textures and the different formulas, the shades really make this truly a unique formula to the MAC collection. I'm really glad that they focus. There we go. I'm really glad that they have, are starting to come out with some different formulas, because these are truly unique. I mean, there's just really not a whole lot. I mean, we go from Color Pop to, Pat McGrath. So that is definitely a wide array that you're looking for. So, okay, I have weak signal, so it's probably coming across as really, really pixelated. I apologize, but I think we've got a couple minutes here. And let's go ahead and put a look together. These, I'm inspired. Should we do one on one eye, the other on the other eye? I'm fine with that. Like, I'm going to have to wear it for the rest of the day, but I'm fine with that. So, okay. Grab my brushes. Oh, you guys probably can't see it. On my end, anyways, I have very weak signal. Ugh. Yes, we're all so glad that he came back. I mean, not that she's ever gone. Let's be real here. She's never gone. But, that's and let's talk about that as well. She's had a channel for the past, 5 years? that's going to happen. Like, you think about your job, and sometimes you take a hiatus for like, you know, a month or so, and that's okay. It happens, you know. But in the working force, people accept it a lot better than, you know, us doing like YouTube or whatever. So, or at least it's like, it makes more sense. Like, oh, you took off time because you know, had to have back surgery or whatever. So, okay, I'm going to, let's do, I'm not a tutorialist. I say that all the time, but I mean it. Yesterday's gossip. Let's do left eye MAC, right eye dupe palette, shall we? And here, yeah, I'm not even sure I'm picking up anything. Or is this leftovers from my brush? You know what I mean? Oh, I think I got a little color. Blend a little of yesterday's gossip in the crease. Very pretty. Switch over to, oh, guys, before I forget, I will be next week featuring and wrapping up my episodes, or my, what is it, my series on makeup setting sprays with SPF in it. So next week will be the last week, because now we're into fall season and it's just not really as well searched for. So I usually just kind of keep that for the summertime. It's kind of my summertime vibe thing. And then the week afterwards, I will be actually showcasing a video where I show you guys the difference between the MAC 224 and the MAC 224S. And I just happened to pick up the limited edition one that went with this Tempting Fate collection. So that'll be the week after next. And next week, I might drop out the live stream on Friday, because I have a special video for you guys on Thursday. It's a collab video with a couple of my friends here. When did that happen? Ooh. Oh my gosh, I had the Sangria by Makeup Geek, and it wore off. It wears off really nice, by the way. Yeah, I had problems with this shade. I believe it's just formula though. Yes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Hey girl, we're here for you. We have some tech savvy people, so I can get you in touch with some of them. I know you've asked for some help, but it's really difficult to help people if you don't use the same type of like operating systems. I know you use Apple typically, and I use Droid and Microsoft, so it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit hard, you know. But we'll get you back up and running. Oh, I meant to switch. I meant to switch to this other shade. Oops. This is from the Lust for Dusk. And immediately I can see right here. This gives a lot more pigmentation. I just think they need a little bit more work on the Leather Luxe formula. It's just not quite there. Or maybe they just need somebody to demonstrate how to use this shade. Brocade Renegade, and I'm gonna place that. I don't know, do I want it with my, yeah, I'll just place just like a little bit. Actually, let me just place it all over the lid. This thing is broke. I'm holding it by the ferrule because the ferrule pops off of it. Really goes on nice and smooth, but it is, like, I could see this being a little trickier for some people. Okay. Then grabbing that Raw Beauty Christie single, or from the shadow palette. This is going to be a little bit harder for me to do just because we're working dry versus wet. But we'll make it work. Yeah, that cream to powder almost gives it like a sheer application. It's really pretty though. I'm not complaining. I just need to figure out how to use the formula. I'm so used to using powders that I think that that's how I want to use them. And I don't think that they're designed to be used that way. I bet you this is a lot longer lasting. If I think about it, I bet you anything it's longer lasting. And that's might be why they did it. Yeah, see, immediately I'm seeing a lot more pigmentation just right off the bat. Let me go back in with the broken brush. That might also be my problem. Grab this other brush here. Just grab out of that palette. There we go. Here we go. So yeah, the colors are actually very similar. I'm surprised. Usually your matte shadows, when you are duping, they're kind of difficult because you want to get the undertone right before you ever get the saturation, I think is the term. I can't remember now. You know what I mean? Like you can sacrifice like tone a little bit, but you've got to get the undertone right because otherwise it'll look like a different shade when it's blended out on the eyes. But here, we don't have to sacrifice that because they both have that pink undertone, kind of that orchid shade. Pretty. Yeah, here I go. Just mix some brushes up. I don't really care. It's more about, just kind of showing the application and how you don't have to own every stinking palette out there. Pick and choose, It looks a little patchy, but I promise it's not. All right, what should we do next? I'm thinking this pink. Let's say with the pinks, maybe, and just use our finger. Yeah, and then I'll use a little bit of that Feast Your Eyes, like in the corner and hit up the brow bone. Let's do it. Okay, so Midnight Summer. It's on the left. This one I'm also kind of wondering about. All right, beautiful. Then with the right ring finger, I'll add it to the other eyelid. This is like a perfect transition into fall palette, isn't it? I feel like it is. I feel like it is. So there it is. Both, this would be my dupe side. This is my legit side. I would love to try more lipsticks out, but I have such teeny tiny lips that all my lipsticks go bad before I ever get to finish one. And I'm always like, nobody pays attention anyways, including myself. Okay, so let's do some Feast Your Eyes in the corner, taking this Makeup Geek brush right here. And just... Yes, I watch Lauren May Beauty. Also, I am subscribed to her, and I pretty much don't miss any of her episodes unless she's doing like the BoxyCharm ones. Because I don't feel like I need to subscribe to BoxyCharm. I just feel like that's not who I am, anyways. But so I pretty much watch all of hers. I have watched a couple FabFitFun unboxings, but other than that, I don't watch those either. Everything else, pretty much I watch it. Even the ones where she kind of roasts the sale makeup on Sephora and Ulta and goes over like what she might buy and what she might, skip on. I love watching those. Okay. So just kind of giving myself this very Victorian age, Victorian inspired look. I don't know. There we go. There we go. Okay, grab another brush. And have I been using from like 2 different palettes? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, here we go. This one right here. Oh my gosh, I did Midnight Stunner on this eye too. Oops, I was supposed to use this one. Guys, why don't you tell me this? This is why I can't do this kind of stuff, because I have like, it's very difficult for me to do it anyways. Let me use this Super Shock Shadow up here real quick for you with this brush. And again, the brush might also be kind of what's, driving home the difference, because this is going to put on a little bit heftier of a, well, I just made it like gray because I think my brush was dirty. Whatever. And inner corner highlight. Let me just grab this MAC. Now, Super Shocks, are they supposed to get wet? Are you supposed to wet them? Does anybody know? Yeah, it definitely gives the same like sparkly vibe as as these sparkler shades. So Super Shock sparkler shades, very similar. So if you've got some Super Shock shadows, you've got them, like if you're after this sparkly topper shades and you've got Super Shock shadows, okay, so you can wet the Super Shocks and they probably work even better. I like to wet almost any shimmer that I have. Normally I do, unless I'm just doing something like this, because I will get fallout 9 times out of 10. I'll get fallout. All right, going in with, I believe it is Mr. Sandman. Yeah, just putting it over the top of the other shade I was not supposed to put on my eyelid that midnight summer. Oops. Okay, but you can see they're basically very similar, very similar. So there you have it. That is going to be it. That kind of wraps up everything. Yeah. So next week I am going to be wrapping up my season episode of makeup setting sprays with SPF in them. And then I am going to I will feature this palette in a tutorial where I will compare the MAC 224 and the 224S. So stay tuned for that one. That one's coming out too. That'll be the week after. Next week, I've also got a video coming out for you guys. It's in collaboration with a couple of my friends here on YouTube, Kara, Beauty and the Frizz, and Kelly Rettenberger from Keep Beauty Real. We're putting together Build Your Own Palette. So it definitely aligns with my, my channel's vision. There you go, vision. And so I like to do that stuff. And I kind of asked, I was like, hey, can I be in on this too? Oh, it's okay. Aileen, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. I know I live stream in the mornings. You guys are at work. It's fine. It's fine. If you guys catch me on the replay, make sure you leave a comment down below and hit that thumbs up for, for more good content in the future that you want to see related to this. We will be continuing on afterwards. Duping the vibes of discontinued palettes. And the next one that will be featured, and I think it's going to be not next week, but the week after. We'll see. We'll see if I have time on a Friday to do that, because I'll have to publish and polish up 2 videos. And sometimes that gets a little tricky, especially when the kids are off Monday. So, but the next palette up will be the Natasha Denona Gold palette. So we will be duping those vibes. So if you guys missed out on the Natasha Denona Gold palette, don't worry, so did I. And we'll dupe the vibes together and put together a palette from my collection, find some shades, get those vibes of Natasha Denona Gold going. And I see the chat is nice and busy. Maisha, you now own Jungle Lights. Oh my goodness. Desert Sands from Flower. Screen Queens and Opulence from Zoeva, Fall Vibes. So I don't actually own too many Zoeva palette. I don't own any Zoeva palettes. I own a couple brushes of them. I was going to review them, but I never got around to it. I guess is the real reason. But I have been, you know, Zoeva puts out some nice color stories. And I've heard their formula is very, very consistent and very just overall really good. But they don't probably get a lot of hype just because they don't go crazy. They don't try to put out anything that's, you know, crazy. So I think that's it. Oh, I'm wearing this necklace that's really like knotted up. Oh, they're half off. Huh? You should not have told me that. Excuse me while I head on over to Ulta. But anyways, so that's kind of, I like to let my live streaming audience know kind of where we stand as far as what's next in the channel and what's going to happen. I think that's about it. You guys are going off, sounding off in my chat. That's great. Oh my goodness. Nobody should have told Kenny Beauty that Zoeva is out there and looking alive. So me either, for that matter. I know I can't pass up sales, and that's what gets me the most. Is if I get a code or if I get a sale, like, and it's more than 25%, I'm on it. I'm on it. And I actually bought Desert Lights at Ulta Beauty, and I used my 350 coupon code off. You can find them anywhere. I just like literally Google them, right? You like that? Google them, and they have a code. You type it in, 9 times out of 10 it works. And I got 350 off for just that palette. So it came down to like $14 and some odd cents. Really good price for a palette like that. It's sitting right over there. It's actually in my other stage setup. I use it all the time. And the Jungle Lights, I'll probably hit up a little bit more during Thanksgiving and Christmas time because those, you have a great Friday, Mrs. Unnecessary. We enjoyed your company and have a good weekend while you're at it. Oh yeah, Desert Lights. No, we all knew what you were talking about. It's fine. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I think that's it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. Class dismissed, and I hope I didn't forget anything. So, you know, stay true to yourself. Don't buy into any of that hype of you have to have it kind of stuff. I know I picked up the MAC Tempting Fate collection because I really was inspired by the color story. I was inspired by the packaging. It checked all the boxes for me. And you guys know when I hear stuff like new formula and really good formula and, you know, just things about formula, I will tend to gravitate towards those types of things and really consider heavily on buying them. Again, here's the shadows that I picked out. And oops, sorry, I didn't mean to smash my hand down there and make that kind of go crazy, but there's the dupe palettes, and I can probably put some pictures up on Instagram. You guys hold me to it, okay? Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I can't wait to see you guys in my next live. Bye.